my last review was about spirits and Japanese folklore, I consider it to be only fair to also give Noragami a try. This is an interesting anime, competent in every aspect, and able to pique my interest with its mysterious premise and enjoyable characters. The story takes place in mundane times, but there is one major difference, which makes this premise strange and different compared with the mundane life I've always experienced. Apparently, there are two parallel worlds that coexist in our reality: the near shore, where regular humans and creatures reside, and the far shore, where demons and human souls linger. A pretty interesting idea, knowing that the spirit world intertwines and influences our daily life and the decisions we take. Here we get a clear representation of such entities as they feed on anxiety and other negative emotions, influencing people to make bad decisions, and even causing death and misfortune within the population. The show animated these spirits in a fascinating way, representing thoroughly their ill intent and obscure nature. I like the creature design. It gives the anime a certain individual look, which makes Noragami stand out from other titles. This is a world where gods aren't just mystical figures of folklore, as they can take human form and act as they please in our modern-day society. Most of the deities presented belong to Japanese mythology, each of them owning a shrine and having a specific attribute that determines their behavior and overall identity. This brings me to Yato, a lonely god forgotten by humanity who struggles to make a name for himself and finally receive the popularity and wealth he so desperately desires.
Yeah, it's my money now. I'm saving up for a shrine that's... Yes! A shrine just for me!
He's a weird fellow who does weird jobs in nearly every field possible. Yato used to be a god of calamity, but as of now, it seems like he refuses to go back to his original state and prefers to be a wandering deity with no shrine, reputation, or devoted followers. Even as the anime starts, we get a glimpse of his unpopularity as his companion finally quits on him, only after a few months of partnership.
Living like a vagrant with a minor god who doesn't even have his own shrine! I can't do it! No!
Also, something worth mentioning is how deities in this show make use of special weapons called regalias. Apparently, gods alone can't do much damage, and they need the support of ordinary human souls to aid them in a battle. It usually goes like this: deities find wandering human souls and give them a name, creating some sort of a connection. The soul of the deceased human can take the form of a weapon, or a variety of other items that can be used for combat. We have Bishamon as an example. In this version, the Japanese god of war is being depicted as a hot blonde woman. No complaints here. She has the moves and the body of a goddess. Anyway, besides her attractive features, she also has a bunch of regalias. All those human souls cover Bishamon up during a battle and give her incredible combat capabilities. Despite all these colorful deities, the anime seems to give a lot of screen time to Hiyori Iki, a normal human girl who ends up entangled in all these supernatural events. Hiyori was a normal middle school student, and then she was involved in a bus accident while trying to protect a stranger. This unexpected incident gave her soul the ability to frequently slip out of her body. Not only that, but she now has a tail and is aware of the so intertwined dimensions of the human world and the demon realm.
Not again! I didn't even notice it happening!
Hey, here it goes!
This isn't a joke, you jerk!
Pretty cool idea to give her a tail. The show tries to validate its presence by confirming how the tail represents her connection to her body while in her spirit form. But I know better. The cat accessory was placed there to boost her appeal as a woman. There was no need, as Hiyori is very pretty. Sure, I don't mind having a cat girl in every anime, therefore I highly approve of her design. Hiyori having a tail made out of energy reminds me of Tamaki Tatsu.
Huh? Wanna tell me what you're staring at, loser?
Nothing.
Granted, Fire Force came 5 years later than Noragami, but I still have it fresh in my memory, and I couldn't stop but give it a shout out. Because that girl is hot. And, fortunately, very clumsy.
I want ramen too!
She's coming! Run! Lucky my butt.
Back to Hyoriki. She seems like a normal teenage girl, with focus primarily on her studies and social life. She has a few friends and seems like a cheerful, optimistic girl. What makes Hiyori a bit different is her love for martial arts and the crush she has on this random MMA fighter.
I didn't know you liked martial arts. Are you a closet fan?
I liked all these aspects of her life. She's fun to follow, and sometimes helps the anime stay entertaining, even when it brings a bit of drama into the story. The stranger Hiyori saved in the bus accident turns out to be Yato. And ever since their first encounter, they started to develop a friendship.
Hello. I know what you're thinking! It was innocent! I was just checking something, that's all!
You know you're crazy, right?
Now that Hiyori is able to exist in both the normal world and the far shore, she's become a target for demons and maleficent creatures. It is up to Yato to fulfill her wish of bringing her life back to its initial state. Yato accepts her demands, but only against an offering. Thankfully for Hiyori, he works really cheap and only asks for a honorific 5 yen.
And what do you offer when you petition the gods? That's right, a 5 yen coin!
Sure, his efficiency in this task is questionable, and Yato even manages to sink Hiyori in debt, on top of neglecting her initial request.
You still haven't even fixed my body yet! And now you put me in debt!
As you can see, these two really get along. The show highlights their interactions as often as possible, and for good reason. Hiyori and Yato really work well with each other. But it's also implied on some certain occasion, Hiyori might even have feelings for Yato.
I know, you've got a thing for Yati, don't you? No, I don't, honestly!
She certainly likes him just fine as friends, despite his frustrating and undependable nature, but sometimes she risks a lot for his sake, which only shows how much Hiyori likes him. Also, she seems to be rather fond of his smell. Just saying.
How'd you even know where I was, though?
Actually, it's your...
When it comes to the anime adaptation of Noragami, it seems like screen time is equally distributed between Hiyori and Yato. By taking the source material into consideration, I say it is Hiyori Iki who is the main character and narrator of the story, especially so in the manga. There's also one more crucial character for me to introduce, and I'm talking about Yato's regalia, namely Yukine. He died at a young age, and his soul was spotted by Yato while he was searching for a new weapon. Ever since he became a regalia, Yukine seems to be reluctant to obey Yato as his master, and for good reason, I must say. I mean, Yato is immature, has no shrine, no stable income, and a very dubious social life, even regarding the other gods. Here's the main conflict of the first season.
It's all ex-girlfriends, affairs, and friends with benefits! You're depraved, irresponsible, and unfit to be anyone's guardian!
While Hiyori shares a sisterly relationship with Yukine and tutors him when he expresses a desire to learn, Yato does not have much of a technique in trying to properly communicate with him. They're both at fault. Yato is too immature and unstable, while Yukine is too young and insecure of his abilities. An interesting gimmick between Master and Regalia. It turns out that whichever god makes a pact with a human soul, he will suffer the consequences of his Regalia's thoughts and actions. Basically, if the partner has ill intent, it is the god who will suffer the consequences.
So as your master, you subject me to every one of your pervy thoughts. Keep our minds out of the gutter.
At first it was an interesting link between Yato and Yukine, but as the young teenager keeps on harboring regrets and resentment towards his new life and master, it is Yato who has to endure the repercussions. This was a well-executed character arc that further develops both Yukine and Yato, as they learn to come to terms with each other. Another important conflict is between Yato and Bishamon. The goddess of combat has a grudge against him for killing one of her regalia. And what really happened between them is not completely explained, as far as the first season is concerned, but it is hinted towards the fact that most of their conflict is based on a misunderstanding. Yato is the god of calamity, but as of now it is unlikely for him to take the life of someone without good reason or being forced into taking such action. On a lighter note, I also want to mention Kofku, the goddess of poverty. She is introduced as a close friend of Yato and has a very colorful and fun personality. I really like the girl. She's so lovely and brings even more energy to an already entertaining anime. What I like the most about her is how close she gets to Hiyori. Kofku tries to make Hiyori admit her feelings towards Yato, while also fondling her boobs.
What's your relationship to Yati? What relationship? I don't even care about the jerk. Come on!
I like this. Also, Kofku proves to be a loyal friend towards Yato, as she always seems to help him and tries to offer her full support whenever he's in trouble. Kofku even stands up to Bishimon to defend her friends. Now that is loyalty and determination.
Still, if something were to happen to Yati, well then, there'd be a storm.
I give Noragami a 7.9 out of 10. This is a good anime with some interesting and fascinating ideas.